Hi everyone, thanks for coming back to FemLogic AI. Today we're going to go over ChatGPT Vision. So that is a ChatGPT 4 function, so you do have to have the paid version, but it's really cool and something unique to ChatGPT where you can do a photo, upload a photo, and it'll tell you about it, or you can have it write a paragraph about it. So really cool stuff. I'm going to show you a few different ways to use it. So here we go. All right, friends, thanks for coming back. We're going to go over here and we're going to show you how ChatGPT 4 we can use Vision. So first we're going to click on this ChatGPT 4. Of course, after we've got into chat.openai.com, we're making the assumption you already have your account set up, and we went through that on a previous video. So you go in here, and now when you click in here, you see this little image if you're in ChatGPT 4. Now, if you're in 3.5, I'll show you. See, there's no little image there, but when you click on 4, automatically pops up this image. So if you want to use that, all you have to do is click on the image, and it's going to pop up a box and ask you to choose where is your image. And so I tried to make it semi-organized in my videos, my ChatGPT Vision. And so the first thing I'm going to ask it about is a kid's room. So we're going to use the personal idea here. So I'm going to show you a personal one and also one you can use professionally. So for personally, I want to know, is my kid's room clean? And so when I think of ways to use ChatGPT Vision, I want to be able to say, have my kid take a picture of their room. You know, they usually have a different idea of what clean is than I do. And so I want to say, is this room still messy, or has it been picked up? So all I did was upload a picture that I got off the internet. I'll show you the picture real quick. As you can see, I would consider this a messy room. You know, that's just a generic picture I got off the internet. So, but then I'm going to ask ChatGPT, is this room messy? And if so, what needs to be done to fix it? And let's see what it says. So I gave it the picture of what I consider a messy room, and it says, yes, this room is cluttered. And here are some helpful tips on what you can do. Pick up the toys, make the bed. Yeah, I would agree with all of these things. And so what I'm looking for as a parent is, could I find a way in an app to use ChatGPT for my kid to take a picture of their room, ask it if it's clean, and if it's not clean, have them give them this list, because I don't need to constantly repeat that. They can do this. And then once they've gotten the yes, it is not, or no, it is not messy, then they can ask me to come inspect it. So for me, these are all things that also getting my child involved in the ChatGPT, as well as, you know, utilizing what it offers here. So those are some ideas there. So as you can see, it says it wants you to make the bed, you know, laundry, dust, clean. And so it also says having designated storage spaces. So it does give me some ideas here of some things I could do. So let's try it with a clean room and see if it actually works. And so I have kid room number 2 here. And I'm going to ask it the same question. I'm actually going to copy and paste that so that I make sure I use the exact same verbiage here. And I'm going to say, Control C here. Like that. I'm going to say, is this room messy, and what needs to be fixed? And so it should say this room is pretty neat, because that is one I got off a decorator site. So the room appears to be quite organized and well arranged. Let's see, minor adjustments. There are some items on the floor. There's a fruit bowl, wire cables. You know, it does give me a few little things. But for really, I'd be thrilled if my kids' room looked like this. So I see where they're saying there are some items on the floor. There is some food in their room, which I really wouldn't like. So this is one way you could use that if you wanted to use it in your personal life. Next, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to look for a second one, which is going to be a network issue. So I work a lot with network infrastructure and things like that. In my past roles, you know, we did a lot with racking and things like that. So if you're familiar with that, you know, it's very important to get the cabling sorted out and nice and neat. And so this would be a way that in your work life, you could actually upload a picture of a network and say, is it correct? And so maybe there's an app you use in your work that connects to ChatGPT Vision, uploads a picture. And so that would tell the person that's on site if it's approved or not before you even go anywhere. So that takes away the human element of having to look at it. And so maybe you get a percentage, maybe you get a, yes or no, but either way, it's a way to automate and make things a little faster. So let me show you how to do that. All right, so let's go to our network now, and we'll find a picture that another one I found off the internet of a bad network rack. So a network rack is all the server and pieces that go in. There's lots of cables. It's very important to keep it very neat. This picture that I have going here, I'm going to ask, is this network setup correct? Actually, I'm going to say, is this rack setup correct? Say if not, what needs to happen to make it neat? Now, it's important to keep a network rack neat. As you can see, this one's cables everywhere. It looks like there's something hanging off of it. This is a world of problems here, and any network person would walk in and be shocked. It appears somebody said, don't touch any of the wires. Looks like they've got a spider's nest going on here. So let's see what ChatGPT has to say about this. Well, it's got quite a bit to say, actually, which I would as well. So if you walked in, this is a textbook example of what not to do with a network. So, it looks like they've got stuff in here. Some of this stuff might even be tilted, which you never want to do, and all that good stuff. So let's see what it says. So imagine being able to use something like this in your work environment. So if you have people that are, if you have a lot of locations, maybe you can't lay eyes on them every day, this would be a way for you to load pictures in of things that you've asked them to do. Did you, clean the facility? Did this happen? Whatever it was. Did you stock the shelves with the new merchandise? So maybe, you can do this. Another way to do this, if you're even fancier as a company, would be to use your security cameras. And so your closed caption television there, and use those images to pull that in. So a little fancier. We're not going to go over that, but that's just some ideas that people are using this vision technology for. I'm sure you've been into the walkout technology stores, as well as a lot of those. If you've gone to Europe recently, they have a lot of self-service things, and so they're a little ahead of us, I feel like, in the mainstream. But even the grocery stores now, check out yourself, all that stuff. They're using cameras to, watch what you're doing and making sure the items as well as the scales are matching up. So, all right. So the rack, it says in this picture, it's saying, all right, this is a very messy network. Yeah. It appears to be disorganized and cluttered with tangled cables. And here's what they recommend. All right. Label everything. I would agree. Use cable management tools. I would agree. So you're going to strap them up and make sure they're all nice and neat. Rearrange the equipment if you need to. So, my recommendation on something like this would probably be to start over, pull everything out and redo, because I don't know how you would undo the mess without that. That probably means taking the whole thing down for a few hours, maybe a day or so, to get it all together. But, it is possible, and you want to make sure to keep stuff like that. All right, keep some slack. Yeah, looks like color-coded cables. I really like color-coded things. That helps me regular maintenance and document the setup. So those are very important things. And so I would agree with all those things. So like I said, this would be a way for you to, like, if you have if you have employees that are on different sites doing different tasks, like if you have retail stores, these are great ways to make sure that, things are getting accomplished. So what a network should look like, for those of you that are wondering, and I'll go ahead and load this picture in and ask it the very same question. And so I'm going to say, is this setup correct? Is this rack setup correct? And then I'm going to say, helps when I spell things correctly. If not, what needs to happen? And I bet it does have some suggestions, but if I walked into a network and I saw it and it looked like this picture that's going to come up here in just a second, I'd be really happy. This is a very neat network here. Not, they've got all the cables, they've got them zip tied here like I would want them. They're out of the way. You can easily get to each of these pieces of equipment. You could swap them out if you needed to without having major issues. And so that's the goal, is to have it nice and neat. And so that if somebody does need to get in there and repair something, they don't have to go through a jungle of wire spider webs. So also, dust is not a friend of electronics. So it's nice to keep it nice and clean like this. So let's say, This image is organized. Yes, it's organized, and it should, let's see, if there's the only thing they had is maybe cable bundling, cable routing, and color coding. And so, but those are minor adjustments. And so it's always going to give you a few, but you could work with the algorithm here and to get it the way you want it. So that is pretty cool with ChatGPT Vision. The next thing I want to show you is something I find very useful in my personal life. I know you guys have this too, but you go into your junk drawer and there's a cable and you're like, what is that cable? What does it go to? But you don't want to throw it away because it might be something important, right? It might go to something. And then like a month from now, your kid's going to be like, where's that cable for this toy? And you're like, oh. So let me show you how you can use ChatGPT 4 Vision to find out what that cable is. And I find this really cool. Okay. So you found this random thing in your junk drawer and you're like, what in the world is this and what does it go to? So here's what you do. You go out here, you take a picture of it with your phone because you can do ChatGPT 4 on your phone. You're going to take a picture of this cable, and I actually got this one off Reddit because I thought it was a strange looking cable and I was like, what is that? And then you just type in, what is this? What does this cable belong to? What does it belong to? All right. So it's going to look at it. It's going to figure it out. It's going to say, I don't know, what does it belong to? And it's going to give me some suggestions. And so it's going to say, it appears to be a two-pin connector commonly used in various electronic devices. All right. Fans, switches, LEDs. All right. All right. They want to, if you can provide more information, like that's, you can say, I think it belongs to a child's toy. Let's see what it says. If it's a cable for a child's toy, it could be a connector for a battery, a motor. All right, there we go. So that does limit it down. So I think that's probably a cable for a child's toy. So that's pretty cool that it tells you like at least like what it is and what it probably connects to. And maybe that sparks something in your brain or not. But I find that super useful. If you are a retailer with many, many products, maybe you could use this to help your employees identify what something is and help somebody. I'm thinking of somebody that works in a hardware store. You couldn't possibly know what every nut and bolt goes to. But if you took a picture of it, you could probably give somebody a better idea of this is exactly what I'm trying to look for. Or even if somebody brings something in, because this is what I do, is I bring it into the store and I say, look, I need this. And then we try to figure out what this little thing is. And so fortunately, some people smarter than me go, oh, I know exactly what that is. We go over here and we get it done. So that kind of thing. So this is some great use cases for the ChatGPT Vision. I've seen a lot of people use it for different things, but I thought that was pretty cool. And I'll keep you updated. So that's what I've done with it so far. I haven't found a lot of use cases personally, other than is my kid's room clean, and as well as, did you mow the lawn, things like that. So you could easily do things like that. Just talking. And as I talk here, I think my lawn guy comes in and mows my yard and I just pay the bill at the end of the month, but I have no idea like when, but there's probably a way to connect with my outdoor cameras as well as the ChatGPT 4 to see if my yard actually got mowed and marry those two up and make sure that I'm paying for, the right amount of lawn mows. But that might be a little too much work for some, but for us nerds, that's fun stuff. So anyway, that is what we have for ChatGPT Vision. So I hope you enjoyed the ChatGPT Vision and you learned a little something today. So I'm going to keep playing with this toy because I do think it has a lot of potential. Where a lot of times I'll see a picture of something and I want to know, where is that? ChatGPT Vision can tell you that. Maybe it's going to do a lot for it once we combine this with like facial recognition or proof of calls, or we could really go big brother with a lot of this. But for the most part, I think it's really useful in the did something get done correctly. That is my thought on it. When I'm talking about my child homework, you can take a picture of your kid's homework and say, explain to me how to do this. So that's another thing that I've done with it. I don't know any Chinese, but I can take a picture of the Chinese homework and say, is this correct? And ChatGPT can tell me, because that's really good, because I personally cannot tell you if the Chinese homework is correct without an answer key. So things like that are super useful. So I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, and we'll keep these videos coming. Thanks, and I hope you have a great day.